What's up? It is time for your December 2021 market update. Now, this is a national market update. This is not a local market update. So if you're looking for Knoxville or East Tennessee specific, stay tuned for that. But right now, we're going to talk about what's happening nationally. And of course, the number one thing everyone is talking about is interest rates. Okay, so check out this graph. This is telling us from January 2020 to now, where are we with interest rates? And you're going to see that we were in the high threes just in January 2020, which is why we saw everyone refinancing, right? Because interest rates became low, 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 right? So right now where we are about 3.1%. But what's going to happen in 2022? The projection is that in 2022 we're going to see, starting in the fourth quarter, 3.3 on average interest rates, and this could go up to 3.7 by the end of the year 2022. So a year from now we could be about 3.7, which again is where we were at the January of 2020. So it's not horrible, but they are going up. Okay, so that being said, now let's talk about prices. What is happening with prices? And as you probably have noticed, prices seem like they're super high. So in 2021, we saw 20% appreciation in prices. However, don't be worried, because on the positive, for those of you that are looking to buy, we're not going to see as high price appreciation. Well, that's at least the projection. Okay, we don't actually know what's going to happen because I don't have a crystal ball, but the projection is that 5.1% will be the overall appreciation for 2022. Notice that these numbers kind of jump all over the place depending on the source, but the average is 5.1 appreciation, which means we're not going to see this crazy increase that we saw in 2021. However, prices are coming up. Okay, so what about foreclosures? So people are always asking me, what about foreclosures? Because people believe that all these houses went into forbearance and people got behind. But actually, the thing is that that's just not the truth. So if you look at what was happening January 2012, we saw that we had a lot of distressed property sales, right? If you look way over here to the far right or left of this graph, where the dip is, I feel like I'm backwards, okay? We're seeing that the percentage of distressed property sales is down. And why is that? Well, because again, inventory is so freaking low. Because inventory is so low, we can absorb those amount of foreclosures, right? People can list their house for sale, get their equity out of it, pay it off, and not have to worry about foreclosure because there's just literally so little inventory that they can just sell. They don't need to foreclose. So the thing is that you take action on that before you're in too much trouble. So you don't have to go into a short sale, etc. You can totally avoid foreclosure. So you do have to take action. However, if you're in a bad situation, essentially you're in a great position to sell your house. So foreclosures, we shouldn't be too worried, even though the media is like, it's actually not true. Okay. All right. Next up, let's talk about what's happening with demand. I'm sure that you are hearing inventory remains low because, in fact, my friend, it is remaining low. Notice that we're seeing a seller's market. You can tell from this graph what it's showing you in green is anything less than 6 months of inventory. So less than 6 months of inventory is considered a seller's market. And nationally, we are just under 3 months of inventory. I think it's like 2.4 to be exact. Okay, it's a crazy seller's market. This goes back to my previous point about foreclosures. You don't need to foreclose because you can just sell it. Everyone wants to buy something and there's nothing to buy. Okay? Okay. So, what about mortgage originations? Are we going to continue to see people buying? So what we saw in this past year was a ton of people were trying to refinance, right? Because interest rates were so low. But what we're actually going to find in 2022 is that the number of people trying to refinance is going to go down. However, people that are actually wanting to buy a house, people that are applying for those mortgages that are going to buy a house, is going to go up about 10%. I think it's 9% to be exact based on this article. But that being said, people are going to continue to get mortgages and buy, which is great. All right. So, with all this information, what the am I supposed to do? So, what I'm hearing a lot of people giving advice around is if you want to buy, but you're worried that prices are high, you still need to do it now because interest rates are still lower and also prices are going to continue to go up. Now, we said about 5.1% appreciation over the year 2022, right? So, let's look at what's going to happen. The value of a home at 350,000 in January of 2021, so that's that first little bar there. The projection is that over the course of the next 5 years, the value of that house is going to increase over $100,000. So, if you're thinking I'm just going to wait on prices to level off, the prediction is that that is not actually going to happen. Don't be sad. Just work with the reality. If you're waiting for prices to drop, it ain't gonna happen, friend. Okay, inventory is too low. People are still buying, and it's just likely not gonna happen. We saw depreciation of home prices back before market crash, at market crash 2008, right? We haven't seen that since then. So to think that prices are going to drop drastically is probably not the right way to go. So let's talk about, okay, well, is it really the right time based on interest rates? So I wanted to just show you this graphic because I wanted you to kind of see, okay, well, how are mortgage rates going to impact my monthly payment? Because at the end of the day, if interest rates are going up, ultimately you're going to pay more for your house, right? You're paying more to borrow money. But remember, they're still low. It's not like we're getting crazy high. 3.7 is still not horrible in terms of what's happened historically. However, look at this graphic. You can see if you look at $400,000 and you look at a 2.75, the mortgage on that, this is just on average, okay, $1,600 a month, 1633. So if you raise that up to a 4%, we're talking about a $300 a month difference from 2.75 to 4%. So, um, you have to kind of consider for yourself how much of an impact would a $300 mortgage payment make. And if you want to wait until interest rates are 4%, or if you want to take advantage of the low threes where we are now. What about time to sell? So the prediction is that, typically people would say that the second quarter, so that's like the spring, April, May, June, that is our strongest. We see a surge in the year of homes coming on the market. And the prediction for 2022 is actually that the pandemic has thrown out all of these rules that we used to have about when stuff is happening, and that we're going to actually see a surge of homes coming on the market in January, February, and March of 2022. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think obviously weather will play a big role into this, and what's happening worldwide will also play a big role into this. But ultimately, because we're so low in inventory, if you have something to sell, the market is going to be happy with you, and you're going to end up winning because inventory is still so low. So, with all that being said, I don't think that, and this is just my personal opinion, which you may not want, but my personal opinion is that ultimately, when you buy or sell a house, it's a personal decision, right? If you are waiting for the perfect time, I don't know if the perfect time exists, right? It's when the perfect time is for you personally. It's not just about the financial piece. It's not just about interest rates. Now, if you're doing this as like an investor or something like that, like maybe you could time this according to interest rates and inventory and blah blah blah. But essentially, it's a personal decision. It's about your lifestyle. It's about maybe you have to move, maybe you're relocating, maybe you need to downsize, whatever is going on. Whenever you make the decision, I say just own it and go with it. That is when the best time is for you to buy or sell a house. So, that is your December 2021 national market update. I hope you've loved this. I hope you've had the time of your life, and I will see you in January.